Let's start by talking about an offseason move. The Yankees already made the addition of Aaron Hicks. What do you think?
Well, we keep hearing about Hicks being a guy who's starting to find it. He's probably rushed up to the big leagues when he was a member of the Twins, and he went back and forth a couple of times. And the Yankees obviously dealt from strength. They've got a lot of catching in their system. John Ryan Murphy did a good job for them last year, hitting .277, 3 home runs and 14 ribbies. But, people talk about how do you give away a player like that. They almost talk about John Ryan Murphy being Thurman Munson. And while he's a nice player, you've got Brian McCann, who signed for 3 more years. And I know that when they signed that 5-year deal with Brian McCann, the thought was that after Mark Teixeira's contract ended, that he would transition to first base. That's not going to be the case now because of the fact that first base is going to be manned by Greg Bird once Mark Teixeira's not here. And Alex Rodriguez has 2 more years. So by the time John Ryan Murphy would move behind the plate, he'd be close to free agency anyway. So Brian Cashman decided to try to fill a need. This does fill a need because Aaron Hicks, although a switch hitter, is a great hitter from the left side against or from the right side against left-handed pitching. And that's something the Yankees had with Chris Young last year. Probably signals the end of Chris Young, and it gives them some depth in the outfield and some speed as well, and a guy who could play defensively. So it fills a lot of needs for the Yankees, and the Yankees still have some people that could be backup catchers. It could be Austin Romine. It could be Gary Sanchez, who's had a great season in the Arizona League.
Do you think that the Yankees will be more active on the trade market or the free agent market this season? So we've lost Michael's connection there, at least audio-wise. So, Jack, I will ask you that. I think you think it's probably via the trade, right? Because free agency, unless it's sort of a mid-level guy, is probably going to scare them off a little bit.
Right. Again, when you talk to Yankee officials, that's one of the things that they talk about in terms of look at their team right now and look at where they have position players already in place. You could look at second base and say, wait a second. You've got Daniel Murphy out there. You've got Ben Zobrist out there. You have Howie Kendrick out there. Why don't the Yankees go and sign one of those guys? Well, the Yankees are looking at the value that they place on those players versus what they have in place right now. Ref Snyder and Ackley as a platoon and what they would have to invest in those 2 guys versus signing one of those free agents. And right now, the way that they are making their decisions analytically, financially, I don't see them going after one of those players, especially because they don't want to lose a draft pick, that draft pick compensation that is attached to some of those players.
All right, we've got Michael back. Back to you, Michael. Do you agree with that those high-dollar free agents with a compensatory pick attached are just something the Yankees don't want to go after?
I totally agree with what Jack said, and I think it's just a changing of philosophy for the Yankees. And I think their days of going to the free agent market, they are certainly not over. I think that we'll see them again, but they're going to clear some of this salary off the books. They're going to clear off Mark Teixeira after this year and Carlos Beltran. And then after that, CC Sabathia and Alex Rodriguez. They are going to clear that off, and I think then they'll dive in again. But if you look over the past couple of years, and I think Jack and Bob, you would agree, Brian Cashman's done a really nice job in terms of making trades, and they're kind of under-the-radar type of trades. And, the Didi Gregorius trade was an outstanding trade for the Yankees. At the beginning, it didn't look good when Shane Green started off 3-0 with an under 1 ERA. But since that point, Didi Gregorius, I thought he had a pretty good case to be the Gold Glove winning shortstop in the American League. This guy is a guy that could be there for 10 years. Maybe Aaron Hicks could fly into that spot as well. I'm not sure. We don't know for sure exactly what Hicks is going to give you, but I just don't think getting involved with a David Price, giving him a 7-year contract, then having a pitcher who's 36 or 37 at the end of the contract, I just can't see it happening any longer. I just don't think they're going to play in that kind of an arena until they clear off all of these dead salaries off the books.